Hello, my name is Beth Dixon, and this is the first video of a series on box plots. Thanks to Vicki Borlaug for sharing her PowerPoint on box plots, also called a box and whiskers because of their shape. Our goals for this series: description of quartiles, box plots, and outliers. Use the TI-84 calculator to find the minimum, first quartile, median, third quartile, and maximum. Sketch by hand the box plot without showing any outliers. Check for outliers by hand and to sketch by hand the box plot with outliers, if any. Probability and statistics is filled with definition. Here are some about quartiles. Quartiles divide the number of your data into fourths. So we have Q1, which is the first quartile, Q2, the second quartile, and Q3, which is the third quartile. Q1 has approximately 25% of the data is below that Q1. Approximately 50% of the data is below Q2. Q2 is also called the median, and we will use the term median more often than Q2. For Q3, 75% of the data is below Q3. A box plot describes visually how those quartiles are spread out. We have the 5 numbers, and notice how they relate to the graph of the box plot. We have the minimum, Q1, the median, Q3, and the maximum. We call these 5 numbers the 5-number summary. Not very creative, but easy to remember. It shows us how the data is spread out. Notice it doesn't have to be symmetrical, and most of the time it is not. Notice how the quartiles mesh into what's happening. 25% in each section of the box plot. 4 sections, the data is divided into fourths, 100%, 25% in each section. 25% in the left tail, 25% in the left portion of the box, 25% in the right portion of the box, and 25% in the right tail. Box plots are also called box and whisker plots because they have whiskers like a cat. The inner 50% is the box. That gives us 50% left, which is 25% for a right whisker and 25% for a left whisker. A box plot is a very good way to compare data from different data sets quickly. Which production line has the most variability in the lengths of parts produced? Well, that would be production line C. The distance from the beginning to the end of the entire plot is greatest for production line C, and the beginning and the end of the box itself is also the greatest for production line C. Which school has lower student performance on the standardized test? The answer: Brentwood School. It has a box plot that is much lower on the scale than the other schools. Let's review some things about histograms. Histogram A is an example of a histogram with data that is skewed to the left. It has a left tail with more data to the left-hand side than expected. Histogram B is an example of data that is symmetric. It is even and the shape looks the same on both sides. Histogram C is an example of data that is skewed to the right because there is a tail to the right. In other words, it has more data on the right-hand side than we would normally expect. Those same words can be used to describe box plots. Pay attention to the whiskers or tails. Which trail mix brand is symmetric? That would be the box plot that has the tails that are approximately equal length. That would be brand B. Which trail mix brand is skewed to the right? That would be the one with a longer right tail or right whisker. That would be brand A. Notice the whisker to the right is much longer. Which trail mix brand is skewed to the left? More data to the left-hand side or a longer left whisker or tail. That would be brand C. I'm going to end the video here, and we will pick up in the next video talking about outliers.